Welcome back, movie buffs. Today we're diving into the 2025 supernatural thriller Shaman. Imagine a world where spirits, ancient powers and deadly secrets collide, and one person holds the key to survival. What happens when a shaman discovers their destiny in the face of vengeful forces? Get ready for suspense, supernatural battles and jaw-dropping twists. But before we jump in, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a pulse-pounding recap like this. Let's get started. In a quiet village in rural Ecuador, Candace and her husband Joel had made a life as missionaries with their young son, Elliot. Most villagers had already embraced Christianity, and the family took pride in the work they'd done, bringing clean water, sharing food and turning most people to Christ. That morning they were busy with baptisms, while Elliot ran around with his new friends Raul and Tomas. Even here, surrounded by the village, Elliot felt a pull for the city life he'd left behind. He was tossing his toy plane when it soared straight into a dark cave nearby. "Don't go in there," Raul warned. "It's forbidden." But Elliot ignored them. He crept into the cave, heart racing. Inside he spotted his broken plane, but then something cold gripped his hand. Panic surged and he bolted out, leaving his grandfather's watch behind. In the shadows a figure watched him leave. When he returned, Candace breathed a sigh of relief, until her eyes caught a stranger standing just beyond the crowd. Elliot said nothing, keeping what just happened in the cave to himself. That evening the village celebrated with a feast. Laughter and music filled the air, but from a distant hill, two men silently watched. Their old beliefs were fading fast, replaced by the newcomer's faith, and they weren't happy about it. Later, Elliot snuck away to play games on his mother's phone. Strange noises from outside caught his attention from time to time, making him uneasy. Candace found him, shaking her head. "You should be outside connecting with the villagers," she scolded. Candace was bubbling with excitement. Tomorrow was Elliot's confirmation, a big moment in the Catholic tradition. But when she asked about his missing watch, Elliot lied, saying he had left it at home. On his way back alone, a strange feeling crawled over him like someone was following. That's when he noticed a trail of stones leading straight to the cave. His heart sank, but the thought of his watch pushed him forward into the cave. Inside, Elliot found a mask he didn't recognize and piles of dead animals and bones. Panic hit when scorpions crawled over his feet, and in his scramble to shake them off, he hurt his leg. The next morning, Candace went to wake Elliot, only to find his bed empty. She searched the house from top to bottom, but he was nowhere to be found. Joel asked if she'd scolded him the night before, knowing her strict streak, but Candace insisted she wasn't that hard on him. Worried, she ran through the village asking everyone if they'd seen him. Joel joined the search and spotted a strange idol lying on the ground. When Candace meets with Raul, he tries to lie at first about Elliot's whereabouts, but his mother nudges him to tell the truth. Finally, Raul admitted Elliot had gone into the cave. Alarmed, Candace rushed to the cave, but a voice stopped her. A man stepped forward, calm yet commanding. He was the village shaman, a spiritual healer who spoke to spirits and helped villagers with sickness. While many trusted him, Candace, devout and wary, saw only dark magic. "I know where your son is," the shaman said. With a mix of doubt and desperation, Candace followed him to his hut, and there was Elliot, asleep, his leg bandaged. The shaman explained he had given Elliot some soup to ease the pain. Candace ignores the shaman's warning to let the boy rest and pulls Elliot along. Joel grows anxious. Elliot's confirmation is about to start, and if their son doesn't show, people might begin questioning their faith. On the way to the church, they meet an old village woman. Seeing Elliot limping, she offers him her walking stick. But the moment his hand brushes hers, she jerks back in fear. "Leave now," she insists, terrified. Candace frowns, confused, while Elliot stares at her with an unsettling, unreadable look. At the church, the ceremony begins. As prayers fill the room, Candace notices a scorpion crawling on the floor. Before she can react, it vanishes and then appears on Elliot's neck. He glares at her, cold and strange, and suddenly her nose starts to bleed. She tries to clean the blood off, and everything suddenly seems normal again. It was all in her head, but it leaves her shaken to the core. Elsewhere, the shaman sits with a man. "Has the boy broken the barrier?" the man asks. "Yes," the shaman replies. "And if it's freed, what does it want?" the man presses. The shaman's voice darkens. "It feeds on doubt and life." Unease creeps over the man as the shaman begins a ritual, chanting and drinking from a bowl. Then suddenly he screams out, terrified. That same day, villagers find the body of the old woman who offered Elliot her stick. They say she drowned in the river, but Candace senses something wrong. That night, strange noises woke her. She checks Elliot's room but doesn't find him there. Torch in hand, she rushes outside and finds him sprawled on the ground, twisted unnaturally, eyes glowing red. Horrified, Candace screamed for Joel. Together they carried Elliot inside. His body was cold and they tried to warm him with hot water. But the water turned foul, and Elliot began making strange, guttural sounds before convulsing violently. Then suddenly he came back to himself, confused and unable to remember what had happened. Terrified, his parents tucked him into bed, hearts pounding. The next day, while Candace was doing laundry, she spotted a carved idol outside the house, the same kind she had seen in the shaman's hut. Convinced he had cursed their son, she went to confront him. Peering inside, she saw the shaman chanting over a woman. To her eyes it looked like black magic. The shaman noticed her watching and, startled, she stepped back. One of his followers appeared, demanding she leave, and forced her away. On her way home, Raoul's mother confronted her, holding the walking stick, accusing Candace of lying. She reminded Candace that missionaries had always taught them not to deceive, and that Candace should confess, just as she had once expected of others. Candace promised she would reveal everything soon. Back home, Candace told Joel about the idol and how she believed the shaman had cursed their son. Joel shook his head. He explained he had found the idol near the river and had brought it home because he thought the carving was cool. In his eyes, Elliot was sick, not cursed, and he needed prayer and care. But as they prayed, Elliot suddenly coughed up blood. Candace's heart sank when she saw that some of his teeth had fallen out. That night at dinner, Joel led a blessing over the meal. For a brief second, Candace froze. She saw a dead animal lying on her plate. When Candace looked at Elliot, she saw blood streaming from his eyes and a spider crawling out of his mouth. She screamed in terror, but Joel quickly held her, and she realized it was only a vision. Still, the dread lingered. The next day, Candace went to the village priest and confessed everything. She told him that Elliot's behavior had become frightening, unnatural even. The priest promised to come see the boy for himself. Meanwhile, one of the shaman's followers warned him that Candace already suspected something dark inside Elliot. The shaman nodded grimly. They had to act or the boy's life would be destroyed. When the priest examined Elliot, he found the boy burning with fever, yet his body felt icy cold. As he checked Elliot's pulse, the boy suddenly grabbed his hand with terrifying strength. Even the priest began to sense that something was terribly wrong. Candace, convinced it was black magic, begged the priest to perform an exorcism. Joel still believed he was just sick, but Candace's determination left him no choice. As the priest left, the shaman intercepted him, asking about Elliot. The priest waved him off, insisting they didn't need his help. But the shaman warned that the priest's god had no power here in their village, and only they could save the boy. He asked for one of Elliot's belongings, but the priest ignored him and went home. After some thought, the priest resolved to perform the exorcism. The next day, Raoul's mother arrived at Candace's house, seeing the priest enter. She assumed he had come for Candace to confess her sins, a story Candace quietly let her believe. The priest began the exorcism, but Elliot didn't seem afraid. Instead, he mocked the priest, claiming he could smell alcohol on him and listing all his sins. "Do you really believe in your faith?" he taunted. The priest's face tightened as he realized that something incredibly powerful was inside the boy. He prayed harder, steeling himself for what was to come. Elliot's anger erupted. "I am older than your God," he shouted. "He means nothing to me. He cannot touch me." In that instant, a mirror behind the priest shattered, and Elliot lunged forward. The priest pressed a cross to his forehead, praying desperately. Elliot's body twisted unnaturally, veins bulging, his strength terrifying. After a brutal struggle, the priest finally subdued the spirit, and Elliot collapsed, gasping for breath. The priest warned Candace, "There are forces in this world beyond our understanding. Whatever was in him has left, for now. Keep praying." Not long after, the shaman arrived with a companion, offering a small bundle of herbs. Candace ignored them at first, but the shaman insisted on revealing the truth. When Elliot went into the cave, he had been possessed by a dark spirit named Supri. The priest had dismissed it as superstition, but the shaman claimed Supri was real, and nearly impossible to stop. Reluctantly, Candace accepted the herbal remedy to ease Elliot's pain, warning them never to return. Unnoticed, the shaman slipped a piece of Elliot's clothing into his bag. That night, the priest sat at home when a scorpion crawled across his hand. As he shook it off, it stung him. Spinning around, he saw Elliot standing there, wearing a strange mask. "You are all liars," Elliot hissed. hiding behind false faith. The priest tried to resist, but Elliot's torment was too much, and he did not survive the night. Later, Raoul's mother came to check on the priest and found him dead. Joel and Candace prepared for the funeral, heavy with grief. During the service, Candace noticed a shadow slipping into the church. Moving closer, she was suddenly startled by Elliot, causing her to drop a candle. Panicked, she fled, searching desperately for him. Raoul's mother observed from a distance, slowly realizing something dark had taken hold of this family. Outside, Candace spotted the shaman approaching and noticed Elliot's cloth peeking out of his bag. Joel rushed to her, urging her to stay calm. The shaman begged to see Elliot before it was too late, but Candace and Joel refused. Candace, furious, demanded to know what he had done to her son, but Joel pulled her away. On their way back to the church they froze, flames swallowed the building. Despite frantic attempts to save it, the church burned to the ground, smoke curling into the sky. Candace and Joel stood in disbelief, hearts heavy with despair. Back at home, Candace confronted Elliot, asking what he had been doing near the church. He insisted he had stayed home all along, but Candace scolded him fiercely. That night, Joel returned to find Candace asleep. Strange things stirred in the kitchen. Suddenly, Elliot appeared, dark, twisted, and unrecognizable. He lashed out, leaving Joel hurt and shaken. Candace, awakened by the chaos, ran to find him bleeding on the floor. The next morning, Joel was still shaken from the attack. Candace prayed over him before seeking answers from Raoul's mother. Instead of help, the woman accused her of lying and claimed God was punishing her for her sins. "You must repent," she warned. Enraged, Candace struck her and stormed off. With nowhere else to turn, she brought Elliot to the shaman, desperate for a solution. "Please," she begged, "break the curse." The shaman shook his head gravely. "You still don't understand," he said. "I did not curse him. A dark spirit has claimed your son. Supri, the spirit of death, has come to feed on life." Candace pleaded for help, and the shaman revealed the dark truth she had feared all along. Supri had always lived in the mountains, keeping a dark balance for the villagers. Long ago, shamans had made pacts with him, offering sacrifices to keep him contained. For centuries no one dared enter the cave. But when Elliot wandered inside, Supri seized his body. Using a human host gave him far more power than any animal sacrifice ever could. Candace, desperate, finally agreed to let the shaman attempt a ritual. The shaman put Elliot to sleep and began the ritual. Finally, Elliot's twisted, dark form fully emerged. The shaman's companion warned her. Supri couldn't be destroyed. He could only be bargained with. That explained the ancient offerings. Trial after trial, the ritual failed. Supri overpowered them, possessing the shaman himself. He struck down the shaman's apprentice with a stone. The boy didn't survive. Then Supri lunged at Candace, but the shaman regained control long enough to take his own life, keeping Supri from remaining in him. The spirit, however, instantly returned to Elliot. Supri moved to strike Candace, but she cried out, "Take me instead. Leave my son." The spirit sneered. He wanted a younger body so that he could grow. In a desperate gamble, Candace offered a deal. She would bring him another much younger vessel. A deal to which Supri agrees. Soon after, Candace lured young unsuspecting Timas near the cave under the guise of a game. Raoul followed, only to find his friend's body twisted and eyes glowing red. The demon had claimed him. In the final scene, Candace, Joel, and Elliot are seen leaving the village by boat. That's a wrap on our breakdown of Shaman. What do you think about this movie? Drop your thoughts and reactions in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this recap, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss one of our thrilling movie analyses and deep dives. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay tuned for more edge of your seat content.